Welcome back to another episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee, coming to you from the Oshner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute podcast studio, as we do every single time we come and talk to you about the New Orleans Saints. If you are looking for a new or pre-owned car, Matt Bowers is the guy. Don't look any further. He's going to get you the best price, and it's going to be the best car buying experience that you can find. Tell him that NOF sent you. And if you want to celebrate your fandom beyond the field, Keesler Federal is proud to be the official credit union sponsor of your New Orleans Saints. They are a not-for-profit organization, meaning their members always come first. You can enjoy lower fees, better rates, and everything else Saints fans need to get you one step closer to living your dreams. Got a big show for you guys today. Cam Jordan's going to stop by and talk about his career and where he's at, how things are going with Staley, all that stuff. So we're going to get into that in a little bit later on in the show. But first, we are going to start with the topic, the biggest topic, and all of a sudden, it's a little bit more interesting as these games start stacking together. First topic's presented by Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant up there on Vets. We'll see if one of these guys can live up and be a Bobby level starter for the Saints. Spencer Rattler, 2 good starts. I think the real deal starts coming for him. Seattle this week, incredible defense. Buffalo next week, good defense. Possibility of playing behind in those games. Possibility of having to put the game on his shoulder. If he can survive those, if he can win one even, if he looks good coming out of them, all of a sudden, like, this thing is like crazy. Like, we're having a whole different conversation. Do they have a quarterback? Do they look at the guy they picked 40th? How do you look away? Like, if Rattler puts together 4 good games here, does that push back Shuck's timeline? Does Shuck still have a timeline? Like, what happens?
Yeah, look, first of all, my first part of my answer is that I think this I think this situation will take care of itself. And I'm actually looking at the 3 games after those 2. Spencer Rattler could have the same highs and lows and not produce the wins at Seattle and Buffalo, and we'll still say that's all right. He wasn't expected to win those games anyway. But then you got home against the Giants, home against the Patriots, at the Bears. And then it'll probably be, okay, time to produce. Does he have to win 2 of those games? Does he have to win 1 of those games? And I bet he will. And if he does, and if he beats some of the teams he's supposed to beat, and if he puts wins on his ledger, and if he keeps getting better from what we've seen so far, then, yeah, you can keep putting Tyler Shuck on hold. Like, I think way back when it kind of seemed ridiculous. Like, no way they're going to wait that long. But I always thought, like, the week 10 buys at the week 10 buy, the week 11 buy. The week 11 buy felt like sort of the natural time to – if things aren't going well, maybe that's when you turn to Tyler Shuck around the bye. I've mentioned before, Michael Penix didn't start until December last year. There's going to be plenty of chances. I don't think you ever have to force Tyler Shuck, and I think Spencer Rattler has earned time to prove, hey, I could be the developmental guy. He's earned that time. And if Tyler Shuck never gets on the field this year, that means Spencer Rattler has done so well against those lesser opponents, has gotten some wins, that maybe you don't have a top 3 pick in next year's draft, and you aren't forced into having to know your final decision by the end of the year. So I think Tyler Shuck is going to, I think Spencer Rattler is going to get at least those first 7 starts, maybe the first 10, maybe the whole season. He's going to kind of keep earning it month by month. And if he keeps earning it for the entire year, they're probably not in a position to draft a quarterback next year.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of it. If you get to the end of the finish line and you never look at the other guy, like you aren't in a position to draft a quarterback.
But if they're 2-10, no matter how good he looks, they probably do have to make a switch at some point. So that's why I say the situation will probably ultimately take care of itself.
What if they're 2-10 and they've traded away some guys at the deadline?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of in-between scenarios that are possible, but if they're 2-10 and they're projected to have the number 1 pick in the draft, then I imagine we at least, I don't know what they will do, I imagine we at least will be saying, well, look, you've got to take a look at Tyler Shuck because you're going to be having these quarterback discussions in the spring, and you have to find out what you think of Tyler Shuck. But Spencer Rattler is showing us that he's going to try to prevent those conversations from happening. But the situation might force them to have those conversations if this team is not capable of producing wins.
Yeah, you don't have to look.
Like
if he makes you never look, you don't have to look. You don't have to look. Like if he's so good that you don't have to look. Like you could start off, you're 21 years old, you got two girls interested, and the one just takes your breath away. You don't have to go to the other one. You could just go down that path and eventually marry him and just never find out about the other one and cut it loose. Like if he reaches like Super Saiyan level of quarterback play to where you don't have to look, you don't have to look.
But what I'm saying is it's a very
I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm not betting on it.
But I'm saying where Spencer Rattler is love level, like you were just describing, and they're 2-10. Like if you're falling in love with Spencer Rattler, that probably means they're 5-7 at the very least. If they're 2-10, you can like him, but there's no way you're married at 2-10.
What was Drake May last year?
That's a good one. Well, it took a while before he started, but yeah.
There's a lot of guys that suck early on. Like team sucks, but you see the promise. I mean, it gets different because it's a 5th round pick. I do think that we're getting like deep into this conversation, and I think that there's a very. I'm not betting on it, but I'm not betting against it. I'm just presenting it as a thought. Like I think there's a very real possibility. No matter what happens after the next 2 weeks, one way or the other, I think our thoughts on the quarterback, they're going to be much more crystallized, whether it's like, oh my God, like there might be something here, to like, wow, he beat the Bills, or like, wow, they just got smoked in these games. And that was a fun 2 weeks. And we've seen how quickly like 2 weeks can change. Last year, we just watched the whole team go from, time to jump out the plane to like the plane crashed. Like that, it went that quick.
And like I said, I even looked at the 3 weeks after that. I think the next 2 weeks could very easily be inconclusive because, I don't think they can make that point spread high enough in Buffalo. Like, the Saints are good enough to compete with some of these teams that are in the middle of the NFL pack. I don't think they're good enough to compete with the Bills and their current makeup. But yeah, no matter what happens over the next 2 weeks, the quote unquote winnable games that are coming up in October are the games where he's going to have to force the Saints' hand and say, you can't take me off the field. Those are the ones, those are the put up or shut up games, I think, for him.
It's interesting because like if he gave you, and there's a couple of variables in this, but if he gave you 15 more of last week, like,
yeah,
like you have to show that you're going to hit that Olave throw more times than not. Like everything gets microanalyzed early on in a thing. He definitely missed that throw. He definitely has to hit that throw. But like if you're a guy, and I think we'll find that out over the course of the season, whether he's someone that can hit those or not. And I said it last week. I think that type of accuracy is going to be the thing that determines whether he keeps his job or not. You can't miss that throw like multiple times throughout a season. I don't care if there's pressure coming in or whatever. But if he proves to be a guy that can hit that throw and plays like he did last week, 17 times in a season, I don't know. It becomes such a complicated situation at that point because you do have the other guy and you are trying to probably, if he plays at this exact level 17 times in a season, you're probably like, he's like the 22nd best QB in the league. Like he's got to be a little bit higher to get above that mark. And you're probably chasing something higher, especially if you see promise in the other individual. But I don't know. Like you got to find a way to, like just hopefully there's, I don't know, but I don't even want to say hopefully because like if Rattler closes the door, he closes the door. Yeah. I would like to see what Tyler Shuck can do because man, I want to like I'm curious as hell, like just to see what the other guy can do. But like Rattler has been he's making it hard. Like shout out to him. We'll see what he does.
That's we're nitpicking here and already like wondering how long Rattler can keep this up. But the whole point of the conversation is Rattler has turned it into a whoa. This is not a guaranteed matter of time before Tyler Shuck starts. Rattler is reminding us that not only did he get to go first, he has an opportunity to make himself be the developmental guy this year. He has that opportunity. I don't know what to bet on now, but I think it's a lot closer to 50-50 than I did 2 weeks ago. That's for sure.
I kind of give me your take on this, like as well. Like I kind of do believe in his ability to keep up that level of play from last week against the Giants, the Patriots,
Yep.
the Bucks, the Bears, like the Panthers, the Dolphins, the Atlanta. Like man, like if he can come out of this holding this job
Yeah.
and be in firm control, I think after this 2 game stretch, he's very well positioned to maybe
Yeah.
really make a strong run at it. He just has to survive these next two to get there. And I think DA will make that a tough game too, and the Rams will make that a tough game. But you do have to win some at some point though. Like you can't be going, you can't be 0-9. You know, yeah.
And for two reasons. One, wins are not the only way to evaluate him. He might play his ass off in Seattle, and they might lose 26-24, and he might throw 3 touchdowns and not turn it over. And we might say, man, that was the best game he's ever played, even though they lose. But he needs to win because wins are a real metric. At some point, you have to be a win because of guy. If you're going to be like, I'm taking this and I'm not giving it up, wins have to be involved in that. And 2, he has to help put the Saints in a position where they don't have a top 3 pick in next year's draft. Because if they do, even if they like him, there might be a quarterback that your hand is almost forced. Like, we have the number 2 pick in the draft. We have to take a quarterback. So he needs to make them have the 7th pick in next year's draft, which also will require wins.
It'd be such a wild thing if like he got through the season, he feels like, a decent option. He keeps the job, but they're also picking high. You haven't looked at Shuck, and you have like a top 3 pick, and there's a quarterback there, and like, what do you do at that point? Like, I don't know. Like, that's the conversation. I hope they feel good about both these guys and have a high pick, because that's the conversation I want to have for 6 months. I want the Saints to have that option because it at least gives them the best chance to get out of it. The problem is that like, and it's week 3 of college football. I don't think any of the quarterbacks are good right now. Like, to that point where you're like, that's a franchise changer. But I was talking to a Scott about those guys the other day, and he was just like it should really just like, you really shouldn't have anything other than observations about players until about Thanksgiving. Like, he's like, it just like so much changes by then that it's way too soon. But like, it is a disappointing. There's Mateer's the only guy that looks like anything, and I don't know what he is I don't know if I'm drafting him top 3, but he's the only one that I'm even like excited about. The guy from Arkansas is starting to play well. I don't know. Well,
I'll tell you one thing though that does feel a little real, and we still, Thanksgiving is the time to talk about it. But if both Arch Manning and Lenora Sellers are struggling enough to the point where they're not coming out till 2027,
buddy, there's no if.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if that continues, if those guys are 2027 draft class members, then like for a minute there, it kind of looked like the quarterbacks are going to go 1 through 5 in the 2026 draft. You have to be in on this class. If the class thins out, then it also might add patience to the Saints timetable. Like if two of the premier guys aren't even coming out yet next year, that also helps maybe buy more time for Rattler and Shuck.
Ooh, man, like like Arch, I don't know. I don't even know if he's like he's got to prove it. That's looking rough. I'm not giving up on him, but like, there's no way he's in next year's draft class. Like, as of today, there's no way you could bet on that. Sellers could still definitely put it together, and his skill set is tempting enough that you would have to consider him. Man, Lagway is supposed to be in that 27 class. That just is going up into smoke. Like, it's very like the big hope is I'm not even going to try to say his name, JKS from Cal, like, and he's a freshman. That's like years off, but like that might be the next like Caleb Williams level guy. Anyways, we're way off.
It's going to be Carson Beck and Drew Aller next year. Everything's going to return to where
Beck looks great, man. Just like nobody wants to say, because it's like the excitement of that like just is gone. But like he's really looking like the guy right now in this class, like no doubt about it. All right, moving on to our next one, presented by Aaron Rose. How did the Saints offensive tackles look on tape review? I thought just okay. I mean, I thought this was a better game for Fuaga than it was for Banks. Banks was up against Bosa 26 times, allowed 5 pressures on those snaps. I thought he held his own. I thought he played strong. I thought Fuaga was a little bit better. I think a good learning experience for Banks, but um, I think both those guys are still on track. I haven't lost hope. You look at Seattle. Who's their tackle? Charles Cross. Like it took him. He's in year 3, and he kind of just like is looking like a guy right now. Like there is a developmental curve on those guys. I think Banks is on the right developmental curve. I don't think he's a finished product, and I don't think he will be for a little bit of time. I think he's got to go through some of these trials and tribulations. He didn't get like washed or anything in this game. I thought it was generally a positive performance for him.
Yeah, look, and Fuaga was the more important of the two in my mind. I mean, Banks, we feel good about the path he's on. We feel good about his potential. We feel good about, how good he's looked so far, but did not expect him to be perfect against Nick Bosa. Fuaga all of a sudden like had me on pins and needles. Like, is he healthy? Is he going to play? And for him to play the entire game, even though he didn't practice fully the entire week, play the entire game, hold up well. That's kind of like, all right, make sure he stays on that trajectory, because those two are the most important building blocks for this team's future.
Yeah, I'm not worried about and I feel good about those two going forward, and I think there'll be ups and downs this year and learning curves and all that stuff. But like I think there's definitely like the talent and all that. There is definitely something that I feel optimistic about still after getting to look at it. Like nothing has changed there, so that's been a relief early in the season. Week 1 was a little bit rough on Fuaga, so as you mentioned, like seeing that bounce back and not seeing an injured player was really the most important thing. So 100% agree there. I'm worried about the interior of the line, like no doubt about it.
We're about to talk about the specific matchup too. They're going against a team where like the two most dangerous pass rushing threats are interior pass rushers too. Yeah, that is a concern.
Yes. So let's shift into that. First look at the Seahawks matchup presented by Rouse is the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Tough team, man. Like this is a team that does everything kind of well. What stands out to you?
Well, I mean, I want to talk about their offense. Then I want to talk about Clint Kubiak and that matchup. But since we were just on the subject, I mean, Leonard Williams, 31 years old now. I almost wondered if he was even older than that. Still playing great in the interior. They got a nose tackle, Byron Murphy, who's leading their team in sacks right now. They're gonna test the interior of the Saints' offensive line and those guard positions. And that might be the strength of their matchup. This is one to watch the injury reports this week. They've got two really good young defensive backs. The rookie safety, Nick Emenwari, who we were talking about from a Saints draft perspective, it could be a really good player, but he's been dealing with an injury. And then maybe one of their best young players, Pro Bowl cornerback Devon Witherspoon. They are both going to be like questionable this week with injuries. So watch the report on that. That would help if their defense isn't at full strength, because it's a really good defense. But yeah, the get your popcorn out matchup is the Saints against the Clint Kubiak offense. They've got some good runners. They've got a good run game, and they've got one just dynamic Ohio State receiver who has started to take the league by storm. That's going to test their corners in Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, and don't forget Jaron Reed on the interior. Like he's been like just putting it down for a decade, like just getting sacks as a defensive tackle. Been playing well there forever. Yeah, Leonard Williams, like they kind of move their guys around like all over the place, both sides of the fields. Like so, there isn't a static image, but he does line up a little bit, slightly more often over top of the Cesar Ruiz position. So that's something to be worried about. Don't forget they got DeMarcus Lawrence as part of that pass rush too. Yeah. Like he's coming back from the injury, but he had a rep against San Francisco on an inside rush, fourth quarter of that game. That was just like absolutely unbelievable. So he can really play. And then Boye Mafe, he's a guy, I think he had 9 sacks 2 years ago, 6 last year. He's a guy that can really play. I think their free safety, Julian Love, is a top 10 safety in the league. They kind of use him like Kyle Hamilton, just a chess piece. He's a beast. Like this is a tough matchup. A lot of stuff they do.
Woolen, he's not bad either. Jeez.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys, man. There are a lot of guys here that can do stuff and make it difficult for you. And they muddy up that picture with the looks and the shifts and all that stuff too. So definitely going to be a tough matchup for Spencer Rattler as he looks out at that team. And then obviously Kubiak is running that offense.
Look, it took them a minute. They only scored 13 points against the Niners in week 1. Clint Kubiak did not have the week 1 that he had last year with the Saints, but it seemed like they really got on a better track this week. I mean, the matchup that scares me, I think the matchup that's going to scare me probably in about 15 out of 17 games this year, because everybody's got dynamic receivers, it seems like, all over the NFL. But it's Smith and Jigba, and then it's the still feisty Cooper Kupp. I mean, Saints secondary is going to be tested again, and they haven't necessarily fully passed their first 2 tests this season, I don't think.
Yeah, Kupp had 90 yards last week.
Yeah.
You know, it like first week was nothing. Last week he had 90 yards. Like that was a good game for him. And then Kenneth Walker, obviously, just he's going to run the hell out of the ball. He had 100 yards. He averaged 8 yards a carry last week. Like, good player. Their offensive line sucks though. Like I think you can attack that interior a little bit, maybe get a chance. But yeah, they got Cross and like a bunch of guys. That's like such a Shanahan thing though. Like I don't know, all those systems, like they kind of feel like they can hide their O-line. Maybe they can. The Saints did a little bit last year when they were healthy with some questionable things, but definitely a really tough matchup.
It is funny that we just spent the first 30 minutes of the show talking about the quarterback position, and then when we break down the Seahawks, neither one of us mentioned their quarterback once. Sam Darnold's just kind of
yeah, I don't know what
replacement level quarterback.
I don't know what he's going to be there. Like the game 1 was spotty. The last look at him in Minnesota was iffy, and then last week he was like 295, 2-2, which is fine, but like it's not setting the world on fire either. They got a lot riding on that because like they made the bet on him instead of Geno. Geno looked like awful Monday night though, but yeah, he's just kind of, I don't know, he's just there. He's there for the ride until proven otherwise. All right, we're going to hit a quick break, and we will be back with more show. The Ochsner Orthopedics Walk-In Clinic is now open. Located at 1201 South Clearview Parkway, across from the Elmwood Shopping Center, this clinic provides convenient same-day care for a variety of orthopedic and sports injuries. No referral or appointment needed. Whether you need care for strains, sprains, fractures, sports injuries, or muscular pain, the team of orthopedic specialists offers care for patients 5 and older. Open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodaux, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number 1 grocery store
In Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
For fans of saving money. For fans of big rewards. For fans of getting more for your money. There's Keesler Federal, the official credit union of the New Orleans Saints. Saints fans, open your free high-earning checking and see what it's like to get better rates, better returns, and better service. Join a winning team. Keesler Federal, the official credit union of the New Orleans Saints. Membership and credit eligibility required. Federally insured by NCUA.
The NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. I don't play favorites with our sponsors on the show, but one of my favorites for sure is RV Masters. You guys have been watching our show lately and you've seen our awesome new van. That thing is decked out. And the best part about it is I took it up to RV Masters and I was like, this is what I want to do, but I had no idea how I wanted to do it or how to get it done. And they took care of it from start to finish, brought me out for updates, were giving me new ideas, and they made it exceed my wildest dreams. And they will do the same thing for you. RV Masters offers full service RV, motorhome, and travel trailer repair. They have preventative maintenance and service packages for your RVs, your AC, your generators. They specialize in solar and lithium upgrades, satellite TV, and Starlink. They'll take care of you if you get into a collision. Whatever you need, they got you. And I can speak from experience because they definitely had us on our new van. I cannot vouch for anyone more than I vouch for RV Masters. RV-Masters.com. Go check them out.
I believe it, I can see it. If it's in my sights, I achieve it. Ain't no leaving, no defeating. Show up, complete and repeat it. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Get game ready. Play game ready scratch-offs and fast play from the lottery. Win up to $100,000. Enter the second chance drawing for a chance to win up to $1 million.
Yeah, they want me to quit, I can't stop it. I'm out of this world, I'm like a rocket. And you can never be us. We not afraid of the pressure, cause we good in the clutch. Yeah.
Get game ready. Play game ready scratch-offs and fast play from the lottery. Win up to $100,000. Enter the second chance drawing for a chance to win up to $1 million.
Shawbear Insurance, the Earhart Agency, is a longtime partner on this podcast, but the truth is, I was advertising them to my friends and everybody I knew long before they ever jumped on this show. And I'm going to tell you why. Every 6 months, my car insurance policy comes up, and every 6 months, I get a call from somebody from there telling me I need to change it or stay where I'm at. They're shopping my policy constantly to make sure I am getting the best possible deal. That means money in the bank. And those are the type of people you love because, look, we all live here. We all know how it is. The insurance rates are out of control. You need somebody watching your back. And they actually really do it. And I was with them before they ever asked me to be with them. So they are people that you need to be doing business with. And if you are going to look up their insurance, make sure you are looking for the Earhart Agency. Those are our guys. There's a lot of Shawbear insurances. The Earhart Agency is the one you want. I can speak for them. Real life, real support, real good business, real money saved. Call them up today. Shawbear Insurance, the Earhart Agency. Hardhide flavored whiskey, Ponchatoula strawberry, and Chilton County peaches in your favorite bars, stores, and restaurants. Hardhide Chilton County Peach Whiskey is a blend of aged wheat whiskey, light American whiskey, and fresh Chilton County peaches from Alabama's Durbin Family Farms. And Hardhide Strawberry Whiskey tells the story of a small town famous for strawberry farming. A delicious natural strawberry-infused 86-proof whiskey for whiskey lovers. Just look for the red and orange bottles in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants. All right, our next topic is presented by Shawbear Insurance, the Earhart Agency. The Saints made a trade for Jalen Polk last week. What do you think? I mean, this one's wild. Like, it's a wild, very, very outside their DNA type of move. What do you think of it?
Well, it shows they have new DNA, right? I mean, is this a Kellen Moore influence? Does this mean Kellen Moore is calling some personnel shots and he wants to collect receivers? I mean, this obviously follows a month that also included adding Devon Vele and Trey Palmer. And Palmer kind of looks like a long-term future move too, because he's been healthy and active and they just wanted to stockpile guys. Or is it, this is how the front office is operating now and the pro personnel department, now that, Derek Carr sort of forced their hand and turned them into a team that's thinking about the future? Or is it some combination of both? But either way, I like what it symbolizes. I don't know if he's going to pan out, but I like what it symbolizes. This is a team that's thinking about its future.
Yeah, no doubt. It's definitely different. It definitely looks like there's more influence in the decisions that they're making. So that's good to see. Yeah, I like the idea of it. Look, they're getting a chance to look at it, a second round pick and they're going to move back like 30 picks in the draft. Like, it's a pick swap.
In 3 years.
Yeah, it's a pick swap. Like, and I think it's 6 1 year, and then they're in the 7th of next year. Yeah. It's a free opportunity to look at a player. It's a chance to acquire a distressed asset and see if you can undistress it a little bit. I talked to a lot of people about him. We have the scouting report and kind of some of the behind the scenes stuff that happened on our website. If you aren't signed up for our website, do that. Use the code NOF. Save 20% off your first payment. It's $9 a month. NewOrleans.Football is the site. Check it out. Go read it. But long story short, like, it just seems like he didn't handle adversity very well, and they're going to have to try to fix that. I do think, as someone that worked in that market for a number of years, I do think when some negative noise starts, it becomes really, really hard to tune it out, just given the media atmosphere up there. There's 5 people that cover the Saints on a Wednesday. There's literally like 45 to 50 people that cover the Patriots on a Wednesday. There's one radio station here that has one sports show. There's 2 radio stations there that are on 24 hours a day, and they're hot take artists trying to fight for attention. Like, Bobby and them aren't doing that. They're giving it to you kind of real. Like, there's no, tear down performance to build yourself up type people here. writer wise, media wise, like nothing. And there are in New Orleans. Like, so I think when your second round pick starts to go sideways up there, everybody's talking about it and you're getting asked about it 15 times a day by 15 different people. Whereas like here, it's like a little bit of noise and it's annoying, but you can tune it. It's impossible up there. So I think the opportunity for him to maybe just get into a healthier headspace and maybe build on his talent does exist. And if it doesn't, you move back around 3 years from now.
The other part of the equation with stockpiling young receivers is you can't help but wonder, does this mean they've decided to move on from Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, both who have big contract extensions coming up? I don't think it means they've decided they're moving on. I mean, Jalen Polk and Trey Palmer aren't replacements for those guys, but it's a reminder that they have huge decisions coming up with those guys. And it's like, are they part of the rebuilding process or are they not? And that is something we were already curious to find out this season. And it's one of the major things that this team is going to have to decide based on how those guys play this season.
All right, we're going to hit a quick break. And when we come back, we'll have Cam Jordan. All right, we're joined now by Cam Jordan. Saints pass rusher needs no introduction whatsoever. I don't know what was just happening there, but we're going to roll with it.
I just realized I was chewing gum. I was like, oh no. I had to go grab my napkin real quick.
I felt like a left tackle there. I was just like, I had him squared up and then he was gone.
I didn't know if you were playing general manager or not. I was just going to let you cook with it. Anyways, Cam's brought to us by Downey. Cam, let us know what you got going on.
Look, when it comes down to it, I think over the years I've amassed some serious, pounds worth of loads of clothes as well as practice activities. And it all comes down to sometimes, those pads, they get a little stanky, but it was something along the lines of, I think Downey Rinse has done phenomenal with the way you can smell after, if you just add a little bit to your detergent to rinse out that stubborn stink and just one wash. So you don't have to keep rewashing. Cause I feel like we've all had that one sweater or that one good old faithful workout shirt that you sort of like you wash once, but you be like, yo, it's giving very I've been in the dungeon lifting the world vibes. But with the Downey Rinse, I'm just trying to say it in one good old wash, you don't have those problems anymore. It's easy to use, easy enough for me to do it. And I'm just saying I'm far removed from having to do my own laundry. Some things I draw a line in the sand in, but I can't help. And this makes it easy for me. It's a quick little packet or quick little squeeze and you're in there. So for me, it's pretty much you pour it into your fabric softener compartment up to the max line. And it's simple. I like simple. I like efficient. So Downey Rinse sort of helped me do that. It's safe to use on all fabrics so you don't have to think about it. The whites, the blacks, the reds, the greens.
The color rushes, the yellows.
Yeah, they'll say the golds. I was going to say gold. You can keep your yellow. Maybe throw that to Pittsburgh. But I have a gold standard here.
Who needs it the most? Like you're leaving it on someone's locker at work. Who you leaving the? Who needs the Downey?
According to the way Carl Granderson approached me and said he smelled hot dog water. It's one of those if you smelt it, you dealt it type situations. It felt very much like it was his upper lip, not me. If he didn't think I was going to get him back for that was come on, you're gonna step right into it. But I mean, it's awesome because my mom came in for the shoot and we had a lot of fun. It was awesome working with Downey Rinse. She loved dropping into the locker room and just sort of like I would say teasing, but she was ragging on me. Like she felt like there was a chink in the armor and she had to buff it out, as moms would do. She dropped the word funkalicious on me or sometime. And I was like, I felt very retro. I was like, oh my gosh, what era are we in? As I sit here with this 1970s mustache anyways, but it was right on. So the fact that she came in for it was awesome. I got to see my mom's during like training camp or whenever we started shooting it. And she was so excited to even be a part of it. So shout out to Downey Rinse. Because, now she's in all her old lady Facebook chats. Like, did you see my son? And I'm in there too, so I've gotten a lot of kudos from her friends. So shout out Downey Rinse.
Well, you've given your mom some other stuff to talk about in the old lady Facebook, messages. You've been off to a hot start here, sack and a half, probably two the first week, however they want to score it. But, it's two plays. Brandon Staley, man, it seems like you guys have really taken to his scheme. DeMario told me it's the happiest and the funnest he's had playing football in a long time. Alante said the same things. you're making plays out there and look great. Like, what has been the thing about him so far, just in his role, that has allowed you guys to kind of, I don't know, maybe play a little freer and be featured a little bit more?
Man, he's a true student of like the game of football, but as well as just sports in general. I mean, he's like a little well of knowledge when it comes to like the old school style of football and how the new style is taken over, and just the rules that used to be good, but now you have to work around it. Just how the corners are able to cover the wide receivers, or how we're able to affect a quarterback, and how you have to ask for permission to put a quarterback down first. But like he's just cognizant of it, as well as he brings an intensity that he's so laser focused and locked in. He can sort of comb out those minor details, and it's the minutia of it all that makes it better players. So as we go on, the first 2 games, I feel like there was penalties that we wish we could have back, but after focusing on them, it's like, all right, now we have to move forward, and he's very impromptu moving forward, and not harping on what could have been or whatever it is. If we take 2 runs away, that 3.7 yards a run goes down to whatever it was, 3.2. If we take that 1 run back for the cutback that Christian McCaffrey made a play on, where the longest run of the day was a 10-yarder. Like, that's something that you can rest your hat on and say, hey, if we took that away, we only gave up X amount. And just limit those explosives. So if we can eliminate the explosives out the air, how much more of a suffocating defense we can become. So we're just trying to be the best version of us.
I was watching the end zone view, man, and like they put it on the line, and like you're lined up so wide that they actually had to like pan out to get you on the screen. Like, I don't know if you can go wider than a wide 9, but it kind of, you might be a wide 11. I don't know, but like, how has it helped you to be able to line up wider, like, and make those plays, and what does that do for you? Because like last year it was a lot tighter, and
right, and a lot more
like
chips, a lot more chips on both sides, right? And now it's if it is a chip, it's a delayed bump from a running back or a tight end, which means they're delayed on their routes getting out, which eventually will bode well for us. So it puts a lot more strain on the tight end to have to be able to block us, as well as if it's a run. Now we're dealing with a tight end versus an offensive lineman. So that's heavily in our favor. So you don't see as much as San Francisco wanted to be an outside zone run team, they had to go back towards in between tackles.
So that could help this week.
Yeah. Rebuilding can be kind of a nasty word. It seems like the Saints never have ever wanted to use that word, but it's some form of a rebuild or a reset now. How do you grapple with that, especially in year 15, knowing this team is going to take a little time?
Yeah, no matter what words you use, you no longer have Drew Brees at helm. I mean, after that, it's been a constant of, at your quarterback position. So we've seen, I'd like to say 9 quarterbacks since Drew has retired, 10.
Ooh.
So whatever that, you can start listing them, and it gets lengthy.
Yeah.
But you're looking for consistency. You're looking for, the next heir. And as much as I'd like to say, man, we had one, we haven't been able to rely upon one heavily. But I think with drafting Tyler Shuck and drafting Spencer Rattler and Jake Hayner, there's at least a footprint going forward saying, hey, these are our guys. We're going to go ahead and help these guys grow to one who will potentially be the heir, nodding towards Spencer Rattler. And you see how he grew from game 1 to game 2 with the starting offensive line. Last year was last year. This year, you see growth. You see where he's taking strides. You see how he's been able to insert his ebb and flow into the game. And from the first game to last Sunday, you saw that jump as well. How he's able to mix it up, how he doesn't favor any one receiver, how he can check it down, how he can extend plays with his legs. And that the last 2 games coming out to those 2-minute situations, you're still like, all right, we can still see where we can get better at.
Did you take a lot of time to think about whether you wanted to sign up for this? Like, looking for those signs of growth? I mean, you could have been a mercenary. You could have, found your Ravens or your Bills or your.
I've never had a chance to be a mercenary. Like I've always been under contract. So in my mind, even with this contract reduction or whatever happened this year, in my mind, I was still in a contract. So until that like writing goes away, I'm like, I've never had to think about it. And the idea that we're quote unquote in a rebuild, man, I think this defense has been a focal point for our team for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And as a defender, what more do you want? Yeah, do you want equal time possession, or do you want heavily favored on your offensive side versus their offensive side? Sure. But at the end of the day, it's all about, all right, what are the players in place? You got Damari Davis, who's a perennial All-Pro. You know the defensive line. Carl Granderson's been there for 6 years and has, in my mind, is one of the better defensive ends in the league, if not top, and has been consistently showing it. Albeit they refuse to give my guy his accolades. I think he's the sack leader of the NFL sack leader right now, right? Yeah. So that's 3.5 sacks right there, and that's just him with pure 1-2 and grit and his craftiness to get elusive on off the edge. So I mean, when you think about that, I'm excited to be a part of the defense. Period. You bring in a guy like Justin Reed. We had Julian Blackmon, who was coming on so strong before getting injured. You talk about Lalonte and his battle readiness. Of course, you bring in Kool-Aid McKinstry, who's just in his second year. I mean, that's not a rebuild to me. That's a strong, a fortified situation. Now you lose Julian Blackmon and insert Sanker, who is a rookie. So that was his first game last week. The first game starting. So he's going to grow anyways. I don't know if I put a rebuild on that. I put hey, we're moving forward. Pete Warner, of course. And the way that he had led the team in tackles the first game, the way he comes downhill, is able to cover tight ends, create those mismatches. Defense wise, I'm good with I'm in love with how we've shifted into this attack first type defense. Offense wise, I've never been concerned about what they do. It's always been, hey, what can defense do? And for us, it's got to be create more takeaways.
I'm curious.
Rump with the first takeaway of the year, by the way.
I'm curious, just as you've gotten to this point in your career, you've seen a lot of football, been in a lot of meetings, studied a lot of film. Like, what has changed about your preparation, just like on the mental side going into a game? Like, is it more streamlined? Are you still putting in the same type of work, or is it the work changed? Like,
it's more now. It's more in every facet now, right? It's just in terms of like the physical repercussions of a game for me now. It used to be the first 7 years I didn't even like look for a massage until like that Friday for a 30-minute rejuvenation massage. Now it's you're regimented into the body work that you do, whether it's acupuncture, whether it's dry needles, cupping, it's scrapes before practice, it's the cupping after, it's the the game ready in your downtime, it's the looking at the Normatec like every other day. It's the consistent upkeep of your body. Along the lines of the mental preparedness. Like there was a time where you could get by with a couple hours of film. Now it seems like it's all right. Let's be prepared for whatever your insert is. Now it's an hour or two a day now. So you look at the end of the week and you might be tens of hours in. Whereas when you're 22, 23, you're like, oh, I'm watching film, but you're just sort of like not fully locked into what is. You're looking at the ebb and flow. You're looking at a particular person. Now there's a system in place. Now it's Tuesday. I'm watching the last 2 games that they've played. It's Wednesday. All right, now I'm locking in on this tackle that I'm about to go against. Or where does the quarterback like to step up, preferably? Because we all know offensive linemen are just obstacles. like acne, sort of like, dang, like I gotta use this. I guess I gotta wash this off. Like there's clearly dirt on my shirt. I gotta use this Downy rinse.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna get that. I was about to try to help you there, but you got there. Good work.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, man, like DeMario told me once that he wanted to play one more year than LeBron does in the NBA. Like, what's your goal? Like, how long do you want to play for? Like, what is there a benchmark? Is there a longevity goal? Like, what is it?
I mean,
we know you still love you don't even miss a practice still. So like,
no, I love it. I'm waiting on my love to wane. Like even last year, I was like, maybe this is it. I was like, the situations that I'm in, whatever, if I'm unhappy, but I wasn't unhappy with football. I was unhappy with my situation, with the lack of communication.
Makes sense.
Some other Asians. But no, I mean, even then, like I had such a fervor for practice and hitting and loving football. The moment our season ended last year, I was sick to my stomach. I was like, bro, we had such potential. We did not capitalize on it. Those last few games might have messed up and reignited real fuel to the flame. Because like those last couple games, get in, get opportunity. And it's like sack, tackle. I could have been doing this all season. Look at the last 5 games. If you times that by 3, where would we be? 12.
Oh man, that's Cam Jordan. Cam, always appreciate the insight. Go buy some Downy. Appreciate you stopping by, man.
Absolutely. Stay away from being funkalicious, as Anita Jordan has so boldly forth on to me.
I said earlier, this is a Tuesday with a Cam Jordan. Cam on a Tuesday is an institution in this town. We're a pleasure to be a part of your Tuesdays.
No doubt. Shout out to Laureate Academy out in the West Bank. I just got done. I thought I was going to talk to a couple kids, end up talking to like 6 classes in a PE situation. Because, we get involved. Once you get involved, you got to go full throttle. Yeah. I thought I was going to run a half mile today. We ran a mile today. Like, I'm proud of myself. Like, we're just going.
You're always just going, man. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming by.
Hey, thank you. You guys have a blessed one.
Big news from the home team. Introducing our newest sponsor, the Mortgage Brothers. With over 30 years of combined experience, the Mortgage Brothers are the quarterbacks of home lending, calling the right plays to get you across the goal line. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned vet, they'll coach you through every down and make sure you feel like part of the team. They're backed by Cross Country Mortgage, the #1 retail lender in the nation. So there's no loan playbook they can't run. FHA, VA, conventional, RD, and more. They're lifelong season ticket holders. Local guys who know the field and your market. And their online application takes less than 10 minutes. Why fumble your mortgage with some online lender who's never even watched your team play? Stick with the Mortgage Brothers, the trusted pros who play to win. Mention NOF and get $500 back in lender credit toward your closing costs. That's money back in your pocket when it counts. Visit mortgagebros.money and start shopping with confidence. Because with Mortgage Brothers, it's always no flags, no fumbles, just smooth closings every single time.
Score big with kickoff combos at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company. Don't pass on your choice of our seafood combos or our slider specials. Served with a side of garlic herb fries. Run in now for specials starting at $9.99 at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Why should I get Gordon?
Because when you're hurt, you need money. And I fight for the people of Southeast Louisiana every day. I got a client who injured their neck in a car wreck, $250,000. Another client was hit by a big truck and needed back surgery. I got them $700,000, and they deserved every single penny.
That's what I'm talking about. Why wouldn't I get Gordon?
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, just call me, New Orleans. Get it done.
Call 504-800-8888.
You ever take a bite of something and immediately think, yeah, I'm coming back for this? Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant just added some new dishes, and man, they crushed it. The shrimp and crawfish pistolettes, golden and stuffed with bold Cajun flavor. Fried oyster tacos, crispy, fresh with the perfect kick. And the soft shell crab Alfredo, creamy, rich, and absolutely worth the order. They're open 7 days a week, and they deliver late. Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Delicious food, superior service. Whether you are a local New Orleanian or a fan in town for the game, get your pre- and post-game fired up at Aaron Rose. Local chaos and local love for the black and gold. Wake up and live with daily drink specials, mimosas, screwdrivers, Bloody Marys, and hot or frozen Irish coffees, all just $3 or $4 between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Aaron Rose, half a block from Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, 811 Conti Street. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trusted team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com. Welcome back. It is now time for the Get Gordon question of the day, presented by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. The question today is, how easy or hard would it be to maintain a grass field to NFL standard in New Orleans? And the reason we bring this up, they had the slippery field last week. Mike has a good report on our website about all the stuff that led to that happening. I don't think this one's possible. How would they?
There's one comp, Arizona, the team they've already played this year, and I've been there a number of times, and they pull their field. There's no room to do this in the Superdome. They pull their field outside and let it grow, and then they slide it back in place, and that field is always crap. Like, I mean, I guess they get it good for the Super Bowl, but the answer is no. That's not happening here in the Superdome. Look, this should be a science, and maybe that's the problem here. Maybe they got too used to just doing things the way they've always done it, and when all of a sudden they showed up and they were surprised by the condition of the field, they didn't react in time to fix it. Because, I mean, wash, rinse, repeat, right? I mean, like, that's the point of having an artificial surface inside a dome. It should be exactly the same every time. Obviously, some people probably deserve blame for attention to detail here. And the Saints better be on top of this stuff. They better have people coming out there 6 hours before kickoff. And if the field's not right, then the cleats need to be right. We're probably making way too big of a deal out of a small issue, but I don't think we are. We're used to, especially the most successful coach in franchise history, made a big deal out of all this stuff all the time.
Well, it's not a big deal today because it didn't affect the outcome of the game, but it could have.
Yeah.
Like, the quarterback slipped on the last drive of the game. Like, I think they're pretty lucky that Talifuara got smoked on the same play. Otherwise, like, we're talking about how they didn't get a chance to convert a first down because their quarterback slipped and lost his footing, and then the game ends. Like, they're lucky that picture, the image of it looks how it looks. Because, but I mean. Yeah, I mean, look, you just can't have that. You can't have it happen, and it shouldn't be 6 hours before the game. I mean, they had a whole day. Like, the high school football game was on Friday, right? Like, so they had all of Saturday.
Yep.
Yeah. I guess they're probably cleaning it up on Saturday. You probably got to let all that stuff dry. So maybe it is, but I don't know. Like, that just feels like it can't happen. Like, and it shouldn't. And something obvious, like, they've done this before, so something obviously went sideways. I guess you scold them and move on once, but it just can't happen again. It can't happen again.
Yeah. And look, I mean, we're last week we were talking about whether timeouts should have been called. Like, these are things you get more of a free pass for when you're 2-0, and they become a bigger deal when you're 0-2. But these are the kind of things that there's a reason why coaches, the more they've been around, the more obsessive they get about this kind of stuff, because they know it all adds up.
Yeah, it does. All right, this is going to do it for today's show. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll talk to you next time.